What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Entei for the Regulation F format. So, last couple of videos we've been doing a lot of building, of course, on the channel, just because the format is relatively fresh and new. We don't even have the list yet, right? We're waiting, we're hours away from that list being announced, right? So, that's good. But, you know, Entei is still one of those Pokemon that will be legal regardless because it is one of the DLC Pokemon. The only thing we're really waiting on is the Paradox Pokemon, right? But either way, Entei is going to be one of those popular picks this time around. Like, I know there is Incineroar running around, of course, but Entei is still going to be a very, very strong pick. And what we're going to be doing is just showing you some of the popular cores that have been using Entei and just give you some ideas and solid building just in terms of like how to use it or what to use it with. But if you just look at the stats in general, like look at this, base HP 115, attack 115 as well. So it's relatively bulky in that sense. And then the speed of base 100 is quite good. It falls into that bracket of base speed 100, stuff like, you know, Charizard, Chi-Yu, Regigigas, Zapdos, that kind of idea. So, you know, you're within that bracket. But then you look at the bulk, defense 85, special defense 75. Not terrible, not bad. I would say it's just like, you know, about somewhat average, okay? And then, you know, you just look at that ability, Inner Focus, just like Dragonite, you can't flinch it, you can't intimidate it, and now, of course, now that you're a fire type, you can't be burned either, right? So, and then Sacred Fire is just one of the best fire moves in the game, 50% chance to burn, and then, you know, base power 100, you know, 95% accuracy, so you got that 5% chance roll, of course, but, you know, it's just very, very punishing in a very physical meta, right? So now the question is, like, what can you pair this with? Well, I like to just compare it with like two other Pokemon, you know, first. Like we did mention just Dragonite, and then I also did mention Hisuian Arcanine. Nah, I didn't mention it, but I do compare it, you know, just with these two, just because, you know, you're getting like the best of both worlds when you're, you know, looking at both of them. If these two had a child, this is what you're getting. You're getting Entei, okay? Quote me on that. Cloverbells 2023. If Dragonite and Hisuian Arcanine had a child, you're getting Entei. Okay, so, you know, compared to Dragonite, you know, you have a little bit less attack, of course, about 20 less attack, but you got more HP. Again, you have a little bit weaker bulk, but you are faster, okay? And then when compared with the Arcanine, you don't get access to Intimidate, but you do get Inner Focus, okay? And then Mono-type Fire is arguably a little bit better in terms of, like, defensive you know, potential, just because you don't have all these quad weaknesses that Fire Rock gives you. You have more HP, you have the same attack, you have faster speed, about 5 base extra defense, and a little bit less special defense, 5 less, okay? So, you know, arguable comparisons between these two, but all in all, you know, again, Entei just having access to Sacred Fire, and then you, of course, you know, with Extreme Speed and Stomping Tantrum, these are like mainstays on its set, you know, either way, whether you're going like Assault Vest set or Life Orb set or Choice Band set, either way, I think these three moves always come, okay? And then from here, you know, you get to decide the item depending on how you want to run it, okay? Now, that being said, you can run Entei in terms of like a support set. Let me just take away Dragonite for a second. You can do this with like Will-O-Wisp and then Snarl, okay? And then something like Protect, and then with the Citrus Berry. Like, I think this set is still pretty good. Like, you can just do like pretty much max HP, and then, you know, just go for like an Adamant set over here, you know, maybe just about right here. All right, and then from there you can just round out your bulk just depending on how you see things fit. But, you know, this might be a set explored later on, but it is a set that has worked in the past, and if you do want to run Entei like this, you could definitely consider it. But then, in all honesty, why not just use Incineroar with this kind of set, right? But anyway, I digress. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to take a look at some of the squads in some tournament play that have been able to utilize Entei. But what I will suggest, either way, no matter how you want to run it, I think stuff like Chien-Pao and Urshifu are always going to come. Just because, you know, again, like Entei getting a nice boost with Chien-Pao on the field, you know, with Sacred Fire potential. Urshifu, of course, same idea. And now you're starting this Fire, Water, Grass core, okay? And now you can even, you know, technically slap on Rillaboom into this, and that could be your Fire, Water, Grass core. But I think either way, no matter how you want to build the Entei team, these three are 100% always going to be necessary. They're just too good, okay? So anyway, so how do we want to round out the last 3 slots? So now let's look at the data and let's see what we have to work with. Okay, if we look at a recent Nino Pokebros tour, let's look at Velocity's team over here. 5-3 result, not too bad. And it is that, you know, Tornadus Regidrago idea with now you have an Entei here as opposed to something like Hisuian Arcanine. So you can put it on a Tailwind team and it also works. Again, Regidrago, Gholdengo, very, very hard to switch in. Dragon Energy, make it rain. We already know what these things can do. There's that Fire, Water, Grass card that we just mentioned with Urshifu and Rillaboom. Now, there is no Chien-Pao here, so that's also, you know, part of the archetype and part of the way you want to play this team. But it's Rocky Helmet Entei, okay, with Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed Stomping Tantrum, and then this last fourth slot is Roar, so that could be interesting. But cool team from Velocity. This is one way to consider it. I do think Tailwind Entei teams are another good way to run it. Okay, this is one variation. I do respect this, so shout outs to Velocity for that. Now we go into the Himi Turner team, and this is another Entei variant with, again, there's the Chien-Pao, there's the Urshifu. Was this the first place team? Let me just check. It was not. It was top 4. Okay, so that being said, here we go. We see Gholdengo yet again. This time it's leftovers, you know, with nasty plot setup. There's the Amoongus and there's the Urshifu here. So again, you know, here's your other Fire, Water, Grass core with Entei, Urshifu, and Amoongus. But, you know, here we go. Dragonite and Entei on the same team. Now, you could argue, you know, and switch items where, like, Dragonite can have the Assault Vest and Entei could have the Choice Band or something like a Life Orb set. Either way, just depends on how you want to play it. But, you know, if you just look at this, now you can run Ice Spinner on Chien-Pao again, you know, and that's really good against the Indeedee or slash Rillaboom stuff where you're just blowing up their terrain. And then Dragonite, you know, just giving you what we already know, you know, with Chien-Pao, just a ton of damage, a ton of V-Speed, you know, priority damage. And then from there, you know, Entei can do that too. Okay, Terra Grass is something that I like a little bit more than Terra Normal, because if I'm going to be running Dragonite on this, then I definitely do want Grass here. And Grass is going to be good against, you know, the water resist and also stuff like Landorus, Incarnate, going for, you know, Sheer Force, Life Orb, Earth Power. So I think Grass is also necessary here. Crunch on Entei is a good tech move. You know, there's a lot of things, you know, going for Terra Ghost. So you can just snipe those immediately. It's great. It's also pretty good against Gholdengo if you're not clicking Sacred Fire. But I do respect that in all honesty. And then this last move here on Dragonite, Aqua Jet, okay, you know, you can definitely run, like, you know, Low Kick. You can definitely run Thunder Punch. Lots of different things you can run on Dragonite here, but this is a really, really good, solid way to try and use Entei. And honestly, this 6 is good, right? So, you know, if anything, Entei, Chien-Pao, Amoongus, Urshifu, that's the way we're going to do it. Let me just add that over here. Let's put the Amoongus here. I think this is just a little bit better than Rillaboom on this particular archetype. So we'll start with these 4, okay? But this is a good idea from Iron Man. Then another 8-2 result, the Chuck Championship. Was this the one that won? No, this is 5th place. So almost, again, still top 4. Well, almost top 4. Top 8 technically. And more or less the same idea, right? Same 6, but now you have King Gambit as opposed to Gholdengo. So, you know, again, different steel type, but still pretty much the same in how the team wants to play. Was this Scarf Urshifu? Yeah, it was Scarf Urshifu. I'm just checking a look there. Standard Chien-Pao set. This one had Lash Out, but this one decided to go for the Sacred Sword. Blitz as the 4th move on Entei is also pretty good. You get a little bit more damage, of course, so you can definitely pick up a little bit more KOs. But again, you still see Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Stomping Tantrum here. Terra Normal Entei with the Assault Vest, that's okay. That's still respectable. But other than that, you know, King Gambit really good into the Tailwind Mirror, of course. Terra Dragon, King Gambit especially. All right, then our friend Joe, who also used the same 6, but slightly different set here. Now the Dragonite gets the Assault Vest, and the Entei, not banned, but it does get Life Orb with Protect. So again, the standard 3 moves here with Life Orb. So Entei's still going to be doing a lot of damage, but now you get the benefit of having Protect. All right, and then just standard stuff with Dragonite here. This is like I call it the Riley Dragonite with the Assault Vest. E-Speed, Thunder Punch, Tantrum, and then Aerial Ace. And then, you know, here we go. Urshifu over here with the Amoongus. Very, very standard stuff here. You know, so I do like that 6 as well. Then over here, this is another way, another Tailwind idea that you can use, you know, besides Tornadus. And that's having Latias, and that's your Dragon Tailwind user, right? We did Latias in another video, but here we go. Tailwind on Latias. And then from here, like we said, Entei, Urshifu, Amoongus, Chien-Pao here. And then you just slap on either Gholdengo or Flutter Mane, all right? And in this case, it was Flutter Mane here, and Latias is your Tailwind user. So this is a pretty cool team. Same from that Nino Pokebros tour. Glory was here. 6-3 results, a pretty solid result in all honesty. But Assault Vest Entei seems to be the general consensus. I think it's just a little bit better, you know, as far as like some of the items are concerned. So we'll definitely slap that on there. But you can see a lot of the common ideas and a lot of the common cores from some of the best Entei teams that have performed thus far. So now it's just up to you. Do you want to use a Tailwind user, or do you want to just rely on your priority stuff? And that's where you'll take the direction of the team, just in terms of like how you want to play the squad. All right, so as far as us, we're gonna give you both. We're gonna give you two Entei squads here. It's your lucky day. Christmas has come early, so we're gonna go with one Tailwind Entei variant and one non-Entei Tailwind variant, and we'll show you both, so this way you can kind of use both of those teams and see how you like to play those teams and see which one you like best. Okay, so let's go back into Showdown here. Okay, so here we are. We're back again, and like I said, we are going to start with this Chien-Pao, Urshifu, Entei, Amoongus core. So we got our Fire, Water, Grass core down, and now I think simply just putting Dragonite back on here just makes a lot of sense. So D-Knight is back, and you know, with Entei and D-Knight, because Dragonite had some trouble against stuff like Flutter Mane and or Gholdengo, now you can beat it. Now the Entei is able to beat those Flutter Manes and those Gholdengos, which is something that, you know, the D-Knight and at times Chien-Pao struggled with a little bit, but now with Entei on your side, it just adds a little bit more versatility into those matchups, right? And then I just want like another special attacker here. So you have the option to slap on Flutter Mane here, or you can slap on something like Gholdengo. I went with Gholdengo this time around just because I have an Amoongus here. So, you know, again, Amoongus is going to be good into some of those Trick Room games. Or you can simply just lead it and just try and set up your Gholdengo right away, deal a ton of damage, right? But either way, I think this is a good solid 6 that you can use. You can use King Gambit here if you guys want. So that's an option, but I went with Gholdengo here just because I like Gholdengo. All right, so how do we want to round out the rest of the team? Standard stuff. Focus Sash, okay, with Terra Ghost here, you know, just to avoid Fake Out, avoid the fighting damage. I do like Ice Spinner again, just because now that we can blow up terrain again and we don't have Rillaboom here, I think just makes a lot of sense. If you want to put Rillaboom here, then you go Icicle Crash, but then I think you lose a little bit of value of just like, you know, blowing up terrain. But again, Rillaboom can change the terrain for you. But either way, you know, just depending on how you want to run it, I still like Amoongus. It just helps me a little bit better into some of those Trick Room games. But Sacred Sword and Sucker Punch is the way. And then Protect. And then, you know, just a straight Adamant 252 set. Nothing else you really need to think about as far as like Chien-Pao here. Urshifu, so we don't have Tailwind on this variant, so I think Choice Scarf is important just to be able to outspeed things. And then, you know, just Adamant Nature. Now, you can go just simply max like this, like that's totally fine. But I went to about 212 here just to save me a little bit of EVs. I just cared about outspeeding the Choice Scarf Landorus, in all honesty. And then from there, I went about 236. So here's the bump here, and then just 12 points in spread depth like this. And I always go for 44 and 4 just to give me that a little bit extra bulk to survive and guarantee against the Dragonite boosted Bandit E-Speed from Chien-Pao, right? So that's why I always go 44-4. But now we're just going Sacred Sword, Surging Strikes, Close Combat, Aqua Jet, and U-Turn. Here's your pivot move, Terra Water, of course. And this is very, very standard Urshifu-Rapid Strike set. Entei, Assault Vest, of course. So we mentioned that Sacred Fire, Stomping Tantrum, and Extreme Speed were the go-to moves. That's Stomping Tantrum, okay? And then this last move is up for grabs. It has a lot of good moves. You could definitely put in Flare Blitz here. You could put Iron Head here for your steel coverage. That also works. You can also consider just straight up Snarl here, you know, just to neuter special attackers, or you can just end up with Crunch. Lots of different moves here in terms of this last slot. I wish this thing got Psychic Fangs, but it does not, but that's okay. What else do we have here that is also like worthy here? I think that Bulldoze was more on those weakness policy sets. So honestly, I think that's going to be it. So yeah, honestly, I think Crunch is good. You know, just having that dark move against, you know, some ghost types, you know, or just in general, I think is really, really solid. Defense drops is also pretty good here. So that can be very, very useful in certain scenarios. And I think Terra Grass on this Entei is also going to be pretty good. Where's the grass? There we go. All right, Amoongus. Of course, we already know what this thing is going to do. I do like the Berry Amoongus at the given moment. I know Rocky Helmet's also pretty good, but, you know, I just like Berry. But either way, this is pretty standard. You know, Rage Powder Spore, Pollen Puff, Protect. Now, you can make the argument for Clear Smog, but there's just not a lot of setup going on at the moment. There are those Clear Mind Raging Bolts. I do see them, okay? But I don't see enough on those anymore. I haven't really seen too many Swords Dance users. There is the occasional King Gambit, and there is the occasional Ogre Pond. So I guess you can consider that. But for now, I think Protect was like really good in just in terms of positioning and stalling out certain things. So, you know, I just kept Protect there. Terra Water, of course. And then Dragonite here. So Bandit D-Knight, okay, with, you know, again, Outrage, Extreme Speed, Stomping Tantrum, and then this last move, you know, really up for grabs. You know, you can put Low Kick here. You can put Thunder Punch here. You know, you don't have any solid moves like electric moves here on this team, so you can definitely consider that. What else do you have? I think you also have like Ice Punch here, right? You can even just consider Ice Punch, you know, against those Landuses, because Landorus is something that can give Gholdengo and Entei some trouble, so you could definitely do that. So that's definitely merited and warranted in that sense. But lots of different moves here. It just really depends on what is that last move that you want on your D-Knight. And there really is no right or wrong answer. It just really depends on how you want to run it. You can even just straight up go Aerial Ace, you know, just for your flying stab. Helps you against stuff like Ogerpon and Amoongus. So I'll just keep that. But, you know, overall, I think it's really good and just, you know, Terra Normal. But again, you have options depending on how you want to run that last fourth move there. You know, just like Entei. It's just really up to you, the player. Now, Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot, and Protect is the last thing we need on our Gholdengo. I do like Terra Dragon here just to be able to resist, you know, the fire move in general. Now, you can go leftovers here. I think this is totally fine. But I gave our viewers something a little bit more aggressive. I wanted to scare people a little bit more, and we just went with Life Orb here, okay? And I think Life Orb Gholdengo with Nasty Plot is just very, very punishing. And you'll see some practice games where I get to show you that just how punishing it was. But I think this is the 6, in all honesty. All right. So how we want to run the rest of the team. So we already did like 2 EV spreads here. Let's just do the rest. I think having max speed Entei is good. Okay. I think just being able to outspeed some of those fast, timid Gholdengos in the long run is quite good. And, you know, there's other Pokemon that are going like, you know, 138s and 144s, you know, stuff like Urshifu and Landorus. And I think just being able to outspeed them is going to be good. Now, that being said, they do have Choice Scarf. So you can argue that we don't technically outspeed, but at the very least, I still like a lot of speed on our Entei over here. So I just stuck with it. We're going to go with the third bump here in the attack stat at 176. And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are and you're trying to play competitive Pokemon and you're trying to build your team, okay, and you just don't know how to do EV spreads, make sure you comment below asking what are EV bumps, because they're a very important fundamental idea to understand in terms of trying to EV your Pokemon. So if you don't know what they are, comment below. People have been commenting all the time, so that's good. And we've been replying the same way all the time. So, you know, comment if you don't know what EV bumps are. But either way, we're going to go to the third bump here in attack, and then just a little bit of SPDEF, you know, just to get a nice solid even number. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like a huge difference, but I did like to hit triple digits here. And with this investment, 12 HP and 36 SPDEF, you can live Landorus, not Earth Power, the other one, Sandsear Storm. So you're guaranteed to live that hit if it's timid, but you can't live Earth Power unless you go for Terra Grass. So I thought that was just like, okay, we'll just settle for that calc. And if you do go against Rillaboom, you know, I went with 192 here just so that, you know, we can get optimal terrain recovery. But at that point, you know, again, we don't need a whole lot here. I just want to be fast and hit hard with the Entei, especially with Chien-Pao on something like this. So, you know, I just kept it like that. The Amoongus, relaxed nature, of course, get that nice little solid defense boost, 0 speed. And then just, you know, going for about 220 here, right? You know, again, optimal barrier recovery. Second benchmark here in the defense stat, and then just dump the rest into special defense. A nice bulky mushroom here. Dragonite. So D-Knight, I invested, you know, again, just max attack. But in terms of speed, I went to about 108 here investment. Just to be able to outspeed, you know, the 112s. Like the Raging Bolts are going for 112s. I do want to outspeed them at the very least. And, you know, 112 is another VGC benchmark speed tier that allows you to outspeed base 100s after a +or-1. So, you know, I wanted to outspeed that especially. But again, going to 114, just make sure that, you know, you're faster than a lot of the Dragonites running around. And then just dump the rest into HP like this. And that's really all we want Dragonite to do. Gholdengo here. So because I have the Life Orb, I'm going to try and optimize that number and just go to about 189 here, 212 investment. Let's go second benchmark here in the special attack stat. And then 124 investment, you know, for speed, hitting 120 is pretty good. That allows me to outspeed, you know, stuff like Terra Fairy, Heatrans at the very least, just to guarantee that idea. Also outspeed Stomping Tantrum, Rillabooms, So I did calc for that. But 120 is just another solid benchmark. And then I have 40 EVs. I just split them up into defense like this. And I wasn't really calcing for anything. And what you can also technically consider doing is just, dropping this to about 52, just because you have Nasty Plot and Life Orb, and just dumping the rest into your defense, something like this. Okay. And this is enough to live Stomping Tantrum Landorus. So you can also consider that if that, is something that you want to survive. But other than that, if you don't want, this bulky defensive Gholdengo, you just want like a harder hitting Gholdengo, then just go back to 20 defense over here and just dump the rest back into special attack like this. Okay. And that's it. This is our first team with Entei, that we made. Okay. And again, you have that Chien-Pao, Urshifu, Entei, D-Knight core coupled by Amoongus and Gholdengo, right? And I think this is a solid way to start just in terms of trying to use Entei. But again, this is the non-Tailwind version. We also have another one with Tailwind, but at the very least, I wanted to give you this one first just because I think it's a little bit better, okay? So let's take a look at a couple of practice games and let's see how Entei functions. All right, we'll do a little best of 3 here with this person, Marshall Zero. There's the P2 Primarina idea with Raging Bull. I do think this team needs Instant. Like, I understand Hitmontop is here for intimidating fake out, but why not just use Incineroar, man? But I like the team. Honestly, like, it's pretty good. I just think Incineroar is just a better option here as opposed to something like this. I don't think we need the Comfy. Like, I understand it. I don't think we're going for weakness policy shenanigans, but, I understand, like, you already have this thing for Trick Room. Let's get something else on here. But, that's just me, all right? We'll build Primarina and stuff like this a little bit later, Instant P2, but for now, we're just going to see how this player decides to play his squad. So I'm just going to simply lead the Amoongus, okay? And I'm also going to lead the Gholdengo here, right? And I just think he can't really stop it. If he wants to click Trick Room, he's in for it. Download P2 with a special attack nature is huge. So he clicks Fake Out into my Amoongus. Good idea there. I'm just going to go for Nasty Plot. And he actually has Terra Blast, Terra Ghost. So that almost kills my Gholdengo. So that's a good play from him, but it's not enough. So protect here. Let's spore the Porygon slot. I know he had Bullet Punch there anyway, so I think this just overall made sense. Okay, it takes a turn of sleep. All right, it goes into Primarina, probably not wanting to take a Shadow Ball there. So here's a Rage Powder. There's the Bullet Punch yet again. And here we go. And we do get to remove the Primarina, but we do lose the Gholdengo in the process. So 1 for 1 there in exchange. So that's a good play from him. But now in comes Entei against a Ghost Porygon, which we can always click Crunch against, right? Rage Powder yet again. I want to try and burn the Hitmontop here, but it is just Citrus Berry Hitmontop. Close Combat into Amoongus, that was an interesting play. But again, the Porygon stays asleep, so that's 2 turns. All right, he goes into Sinistcha to help the Hitmontop get a little bit more recovery. I tried to, again, go for the Sacred Fire. No burn yet again. I do live the Close Combat, but it's just unfortunate that I can't quite get the burn here, but I do at least put it to sleep. All right. So he goes into P2, probably just, again, trying to recycle his stuff, trying to save everything. Burning Sinistcha, we do. So that's good. 1 for 3 for burns. All right. And I just want to heal my Entei back up with the Amoongus. And he clicks Trick Room for some reason, with the Amoongus on the field, right? So I do protect here. I don't want the to die just immediately yet. He goes for Strength Set. Now, the thing is, this was actually a misplay by me. I could have just Pollen Puffed the Sinistcha and got rid of it, right? And not have to take that attack reduction. So that was a misplay on my part. But here's Hitmontop yet again. All right. Again, Intimidate not doing anything to Entei. And the P2 does wake up. He does go for the Ice Beam. We do live, which is great. And we do get Berry Recovery. But again, I just can't help but think about that, missed Pollen Puff to be able to pick up the Sinistcha right then and there. So Chien-Pao comes in. I know what he's trying to do. He goes back into Sinistcha. I knew he would do that, trying to extend the Porygon's longevity and just saving my Amoongus for another turn. But there's another Crunch. We get another defense shot, which of course is quite good. But, Sucker Punch failing there, which means the Sinistcha was going for something else, and he was going for just Trick Room there. I think he wanted the double Trick Room with the Porygon there. So, again, this is pretty much over. He can't really do a whole lot here. I just need to remove the Hitmontop here. There is Rage Powder, okay? But again, it's not going to matter a whole lot. I'm just trying to just wither the Sinistcha and Hitmontop down. All right, and now we just have priority Extreme Speed. And we just removed the Sinistcha with the Ice Spinner there. So, just putting it in range, making sure that we ensure the KO. So that was game 1. All right, so game 2 here, I'm pretty much just going to do the same thing, because I don't think he has anything to really stop the Gholdengo. So here we go, Amoongus and Gholdengo yet again. Now he brings the Comfey. That's bad news for him. So I'm just going to once again put the Porygon to sleep. He does click Ice Beam. I do get Berry Recovery, and I do put the P2 to sleep, and for some reason he clicks Trick Room on the Comfey. I have no idea why he's doing that. But here comes Primarina, which means that's another thing we can just Spore. All right, and now Gholdengo is just free to set up. That's a turn of sleep. So here's the nasty plot. Okay, all right, and again, the Porygon does wake up. So that's unfortunate for me because the Amoongus goes down there. So only one turn sleep. The Primarina takes a turn. Another nasty plot setup. All right, he's got a chance if the Primarina wakes up here. I just need to protect the Chien-Pao here. But unfortunately for him, the Primarina does not wake up. He clicks Ice Beam for some reason, maybe anticipating Terra Dragon. But this is just straight up Make It Rain. It's going to do a ton of damage, and it just wipes the floor with the Primarina and the Porygon, just like that. And that's going to be pretty much all she wrote because Comfey's not going to be able to do anything, and neither is Raging Bolt. I'm just going to go back into Entei here because Trick Room's going to expire, and literally just going to be clicking a bunch of Make It Rains. And Snarl does do something to Gholdengo, but again, it brings you from +3 to +2. More than enough to remove the Comfey here. Right, Gholdengo's just dominating here. And now Entei can just do whatever it wants, literally. So we just click Crunch. I could have clicked Stomping Tantrum, but at this point, I thought that would have been enough, but it wasn't. So another misplay from my part. But again, that would have been fine. We still have Chien-Pao in the back just to be able to do whatever we want here. And that's pretty much all she wrote. And they forfeited game 2 as well. All right, so now I'm going to show you the second variant, which is the Tailwind variant. So I think Tornadus is definitely appreciated on teams like this. So what we can do is simply just go, like, again, Tailwind, Bleak Wind Storm. I do like Icy Wind here just for, like, extra speed control and then Protect. And again, the whole idea is with this Covert Cloak Terra Ghost set is you are able to, I clicked Shiny by accident, you are able to dodge Fake Outs, and you are also not susceptible to speed drops from stuff like Icy Wind from either like an opposing Iron Bundle or like another Tornadus or like a Flutter Mane, for example, right? And then the whole idea with Terra Ghost is that you are able to dodge the extreme speeds from Enteis, from Arcanites, and from Dragonites and not die before you get to click Tailwind, right? So that's the whole idea between stacking the Covert Cloak and the Terra Ghost. I've been getting like 57 questions every video. Well, why are you doing Covert Cloak and Ghost? It's actually very, very standard and very, very solid, but I just have to explain myself every time so we avoid that comment, repeatedly in every single team building video. But we're just going to go with the same standard Tornadus set that we've been using for a while. And that's just going for a Timid set over here. And the whole idea is I do want to be able to go right here to 84. This is going to be able to outspeed an Iron Bundle Speed Booster, with Tailwind, because they cap at 309. We're going to hit 310 when you go to 155, but I want to speed creep and go to 156. Then from here, you just go standard, like, again, just go like super bulky here with 212, 196. That's going to help you survive against the Choice Scarf Urshifus, with Surging Strikes. So I do always like to make a bulkier Tornadus. And then we keep Gholdengo here. And then Gholdengo under Tailwind, is going to sweep a lot of different teams, right? Especially with Life Orb over here. So, these Chien-Pao, Urshifu, and Enteis, these are like cleanup duty, but Gholdengo is going to be doing a lot of the main damage here. All right, so let's take a look at another set of games where we can use Tornadus. All right, we got Baxcalibur Snow in Regulation F. I don't know how many Baxcalibur teams we're going to be able to see, but this is a pretty good example where something like Tornadus is going to be appreciated just because, again, with Tornadus having Tailwind, we can actually slow down and outpace the Iron Bundle, going for Icy Winds. And he's got 3 Ice types here in a Flutter Mane. You can't tell me you don't bring Gholdengo to this, okay? The only thing you have to worry about is Urshifu, but you got Chien-Pao and your own Entei / Urshifu for that as well. So here we go. Okay, you can't tell me you don't bring Gholdengo here, right? So Flutter and Incineroar are going to come here. Tornadus and Gholdengo are going to lead here. Now, you can't fake out my Gholdengo, you can't fake out my Tornadus, so I don't know what you're doing here. I'm going to go simply Tailwind, I'm going to go Make It Rain, and I'm going to kiss your Flutter Mane goodbye. Nice Flutter Mane you got there, okay? And in case Incineroar went for the Flare Blitz, we're able to resist it because of Terra Dragon. He went for the Tornadus instead. I don't know why he did that, but here comes the Ninetales. That's fine. So I'm just going to go into Entei here, re-switch and reposition. He clicks Protect, that's totally fine. Probably just to be able to resist the Make It Rain yet again. We missed the Incin, and he does click Parting Shot into the Tornadus. So now my Tornadus is weaker. He goes into Iron Bundle here, but this is fine, right? Because again, he does have Speed Booster, but we have the Icy Wind. We can outspeed the Bundle, Okay, and now what we can do is go for Sacred Fire on the Ninetales. It does live, okay, and it does get Citrus Berry Recovery. We don't get a burn, unfortunate. Hydro Pump does not kill the Entei because we have the Assault Vest, and Blizzard is still not enough because we have the Assault Vest. Those 36 Spadef EVs made a huge difference here, I guarantee it. But now here comes Gholdengo, okay? The Iron Bundle can't outpace it, okay? So here we go. He's just dodging it, and now I knew he would click Double Protect. It's my last turn of Tailwind. Let's outsmart him and click the Nasty Plot. All right, so now he can outspeed and he can click Blizzard, but Gholdengo has a ton of bulk, okay, and I'm fortunate enough to live it. And again, we just wipe it away with Make It Rain, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Not being able to pick up a Blizzard there, and you know, just having a bulky Gholdengo just made a huge difference. And now it's just instant with Gholdengo here, and now I can do whatever I want because I know Gholdengo outspeeds anyway. I just, you know. And you could even argue you attack both here, but again, the fake out pressure, just Sacred Sword, and now it's pretty much over because now it's just, you know, 2-on-1, and you already used your fake out. You can't win both that in this scenario, so yeah, that was a good idea there. All right, game 2 against this, but again, you got to see how, you know, how crippling Gholdengo is to a team like this, and how you're able to just outpace it with Tornadus along with Icy Wind and Tailwind support. So here we go again. I'm just gonna simply lead Tornadus and Gholdengo here. He's going to go instant bundle this time. Okay, but again, instant can't fake out anything here. So it doesn't have a huge use. But again, I'm just going to literally set up my Tailwind first. Now, the bundle will outspeed my Gholdengo, but that's totally fine. All right, there's the Blizzard. So he does wipe out my Tornadus. The instant had helping hand, by the way. But there is the freeze against Gholdengo. So that's totally unfortunate. But we have Urshifu here. He goes into Rillaboom. Smart play there. Okay, because I was targeting that. I was trying to read the Iron Bundle Protect, or maybe even the Terra Ghost. He didn't go for it, and I guess he tried to read me too, going for the Hydro Pump there, maybe anticipating I would switch in Entei into Freeze Dry over there. But Make It Rain doing a ton of damage into the Iron Bundle, and even Rillaboom. Life Orb, Make It Rain is just so punishing here. Okay, and you know, he can Grassy Glider. That would be the end of my Urshifu. I can't let him do that, so I'm gonna have to give up Chien-Pao here. Okay, and Gholdengo can still do whatever it wants. There's another Protect from the bundle. There is the Fake Out. I don't like that play. Fake Out Protect just doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to Fake Out, at least be aggressive. But he didn't want to lose the Iron Bundle, but then you lose the Rillaboom. So what was the point of that? So I felt like this was the turn that he lost the game, in my opinion. All right, here comes Flutter. All right, Tailwind is about to expire. He goes into Incineroar. Again, just baiting out my Make It Rains and Sucker Punches as well. There's an Icy Wind. I don't understand why he's doing that. I felt like Hydro Pump could have picked up Gholdengo there potentially. But now we get to remove the Iron Bundle here. Okay, he slows my Chien-Pao down. I guess he might be like this spec. He has specs. He's probably like modest specs. So he's trying to outpace my Chien-Pao by doing that. But here we go. We're just going to protect Chien-Pao here. I want him to remove Gholdengo. So this way I can get the free switch into Urshifu. This is huge, right? And thankfully he does do that. So down goes Gholdengo. We get some free chip into Incineroar while we're at it. And now we go into Choice Scarf Urshifu, which outpaces his Flutter Mane anyway. So, you know, here we go, Terra Water. He thinks he's faster, but he doesn't understand that Choice Scarf, you know, with Urshifu just outpaces Flutter Mane altogether. And now we just get free Sacred Sword into the Instant. And once again, the Instant is the last one standing. And the Instant can't do a whole lot here against Urshifu. And Chien-Pao can't even do anything except click the forfeit button. So once again, Tornadus having a huge impact, and Gholdengo is just so good. All right, so there it is, folks. You have two Entei teams that you could utilize. You have the Dragonite Chien-Pao idea with Entei, Amoongus, and Gholdengo. So, you know, no Tailwind here, but again, bunch of priority Pokemon just doing a ton of damage. And then this one, you have the Tornadus yet again, just giving the entire team speed control, clicking Tailwind. You know, Chien-Pao, and Entei can outpace things. And now you also have Icy Wind, some great value there. And Gholdengo, again, with Life Orb, is just doing a ton of damage. And you're able to also help set it up here with, you know, the Amoongus with redirection support. So I think both of them are very, very good in what they're trying to do. So again, we gave you some good ideas. So hopefully you utilize them and maybe even make your own Entei team. But feel free to use both of these because I think they're very, very good as far as what we're trying to do with the Entei. Okay, and if you're trying to build something else and you need a little bit of help on the channel, we have that coaching available. It's a tier 3 sub. So if you look in the video description below, you can click the link and join the channel with the tier 3 sub. It's only $9.99. And then in the comment section, we have the same link. It's a pinned comment. You can click it. You can join the channel and join with that tier 3 sub. And then from there, we build the team from scratch just like this. We show you all of our EV spreads and we get you that team that you need you know, for rank ladder, for regulation F, or from online tournament play, or for upcoming regionals, because, you know, Charlotte is coming, you know, within the first week of January. So we're trying to get people ready for that. So if this is something you're interested in, make sure you sub to the channel, join the Discord as well, where you get to interact with some of my other members of my community as well as me. Okay, so if you want to do that, definitely join the Discord. But other than that, sign up for coaching on the channel. Anyway, we'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.